Hello, this is John Miller, the creator of The Rest of Everest. I think I can safely say that this show is, without a doubt, the most in-depth look into the entire experience of what it takes to climb Everest, as well as some other peaks throughout the Himalayas. But all of the events in the series are shown in chronological order, so if you're new to the show, please go all the way back to episode 000 and watch everything in order. That's truly the best way to enjoy it. Thanks.
This is the Rest of Everest video podcast, an almost unabridged expedition experience. Episode 132, an unbelievable base camp surprise.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to The Rest of Everest. I'm John Miller. Sorry about not putting the episode out a couple of weeks ago. As you can hear from my voice, I have a bit of a frog in my throat and I have been very sick, so I had to skip a week. But luckily, I was able to put that same episode out last week, and I think this week's episode is actually going to redeem me in your eyes, because this is the week we actually get to base camp. So there were only a small group of us actually made it to base camp, and let me go down the list real quick. It was Jeff Coe, John Coleman, and Steve Beatty. How are you guys doing today?
Great. Yep, doing great, John.
Doing great, John. How are you?
I'm doing as well as can be expected. I sound worse than I feel. So, but I also kind of hinted that we'd have a special guest on this episode, and so she is on the line as well. And I know people have been speculating who it is, but almost all of you are wrong. Nope. I'd like everyone to be introduced to my mother, Susan Miller. How are you doing, Mom?
I'm great. Hello, everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here.
She's calling in from upstate New York. This is her very first time appearing on The Rest of Everest, so I'm really excited about it. And you'll see why. Actually, she actually plays a part in this week's episode. So that's why I wanted her on the commentary, because when you get to base camp, you got to call, especially for me, you got to call your mom with the sat phone. So that was something that was really important for me to do, and we do see that in the episode. But we're running a little bit late today. I'm getting all this started, the recording started, so I'd say let's go ahead and jump into it, and let's rejoin us on our walk up from Gorakshep to base camp. So here we go.
That's a few hours later, maybe 2, I forget when I last filmed, and we are definitely within sight of our tents, but it might still be a few minutes. The scale here is very difficult to completely wrap your head around, so we've been able to see base camp for hours and hours and hours, and it looks like it's just a few minutes away, but of course it's not. So when we're here, we're actually right pressing close up against the ice fall, which is right there.
Yep, that's the Kathmandu ice fall right there.
You can see all of, just let's see if I can get this right. This little camera doesn't actually mirror anything. Let's see. All right, so that's the ice fall coming down the mountain. Oh, come on, John. There it is. That's the ice. That's the
you guys love my visual aids.
Famous ice fall, and here's Kathmandu Glacier.
Works well.
Should have been a weatherman.
Base camp is right up top here.
And we're actually on top of the glacier. I mean, this is all rocks on top of the glacier, which is just, I didn't realize that until we were there.
You can just barely make out the tents right there. That right there is truly just a few minutes away. But knowing that it's still a bit of a walk, Dawa cooked up a base camp, sent it down some hot use, which is one of the many benefits of hiking in the Himalayas.
Yeah, so they sent down tea, or hot tea for us. This is so nice.
That was a nice touch. That was unbelievable.
Well, it's official. We made it here. We're at base camp.
There's base camp. We finally made it. It really did seem like we were almost upon base camp the whole time, but it was like 5 hours away the whole time.
There's the base camp bakery.
Yeah, the bakery at the base camp, which is a feat in itself, having baking stuff at the base camp.
Well, Steve and I are here.
Yeah, Steve let us in to base camp. Thanks a lot for that, Steve.
Yeah, it was my pleasure.
You guys might remember the big dome? Great, thanks, Dawa. Thanks for the juice.
Yeah, there's Dawa. Absolutely stunning camera work, John. Just doing a great job.
Good thing I took my Dramamine this morning.
Yep, so there's Steve, because of course, like I said, yep, Steve led us into base camp, which was very cool, and he explains in just a minute here what it was like. I got it on tape, pretty cool.
There's the famous dome tent that we've seen so many times in the past in the Rest of Everest episodes.
Yep, Dome, Sweet Dome. And I think this is...
That's Pemba,
That's
I think.
Pemba right there.
Yeah.
I think Jeff is next.
What do you think, man? Wonderful. I'm really happy to be here. Crossing over the threshold there as we were coming in, I actually started crying a little bit. Oh, great. Something you think about for so long. When you finally achieve a long-term goal, it's just a good feeling. And a lot of effort to get here. Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm glad you let us in. I appreciate that. So, yeah, that warm juice really helped to get us over the last 20, 30 minutes there. And I feel pretty good. I'm tired. As tired as I've ever been, I think, but yeah, it feels good. And here comes Jeff.
Yeah, there's Jeff.
Come on in, guys.
Dusting off my camera.
It does take so much effort to get up to base camp. It's amazing.
That last step was a killer, too.
Yeah,
It was.
he drops to his knees.
It's hard to tell, but that door in is so tiny that you have to be a hunchback just to get into it. You got to kind of step up and crouch and circle your way
Yeah,
in.
Pem was like, "Come on, guys. What's the big deal? Come on, guys."
Hey, John.
There's John.
That was nothing.
Cake! Let's do it again tomorrow.
Let's
summit Everest tomorrow.
Let's not even say we did. I'm too tired even to say we did. So, John,
Yes.
look familiar?
Yes, it does. This is. We've not seen this tent before. I think I've seen this tent before.
Yeah, one more way. The whole trip was surreal for everyone.
I've seen this tent before.
Yeah, I definitely had that moment later on that night. Sitting in that tent, looking over, and there's John Miller sitting next to me. I'm like, damn. Hey, wait a minute, I'm on the Rest of Everest right now. I don't think it actually sunk in until that moment. I was like, oh wow, okay.
Oh, fortunately, that's going to be the most comfortable chair I felt in my entire life, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, I'm switching to the big camera.
Wow.
Now we're cold.
Yeah, it's much colder
You
there.
clapped so that you make sure the sound was working.
I'm getting level, yeah. Oh, man. My heel is just right now.
From the Diamox, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've explained the Diamox makes your extremities tingle a little bit, especially your fingers.
So the goal here is to call my mother, who hopefully right now, it's Thursday, so she should be teaching. She's an English teacher at the same high school I went to. Yes, I was at the same high school that my mom taught at, and my father, and my twin brother, and my older brother at one point. Freshman year, my entire family was at the same high school every day.
It's true.
But my parents were both cool teachers when I was there, so it worked out. So,
Yeah, no one ever had anything bad to say about them.
We tried very hard not to embarrass you too much.
There were some other students who had their parents teaching, but they weren't always the teachers held in the highest regard by the students. It's funny, I used to call the phone number from the school all the time, but couldn't remember it anymore.
We're too close to the border.
Oh.
It now says Thuraya, China, which means it thinks we're in China, and the SIM only works in Nepal.
Well, why did it work for me?
Well, you're obviously in Nepal over there. So here, I'm actually going to turn the phone off. And,
I mean, frickin' Mount Everest is in the way.
Right, but we know how inaccurate GPS is overall. It's even though it's been made more accurate in the past number of years. The border is Mount Everest.
I understand
That's the border.
but you got a 12,000 foot high speed bump in the way.
Right, that way.
From here.
But the border goes up through all these mountains, all the way over here. Yeah.
And I have to imagine the GPS in that sat phone wasn't the
So we're gonna see
most
if maybe
accurate.
it will say Thuraya, Nepal.
In the next
Otherwise, we gotta
episode,
go outside.
133, you'll find that
That
if we moved
direction.
like 3 feet in one
Or at least sit on
direction,
that side of the table.
you were in Nepal. 3 feet in the other direction, you were in India
change
or
seats with
China.
I'd appreciate that. That'd be great. I think my mom would appreciate
We
that
spent a lot of
too,
time
if,
the 2 days rebooting that
Cannot
phone.
imagine that 3 feet would make a difference.
It apparently did, though. Because, just sitting here in this one chair, it made a difference because I was able to leave a message for my grandparents. All was well. Here, I'm just going to tilt the...
Mom, I still need to tell Grandma I'm going to Everest. And
Oh, you certainly do. You owe her a phone call.
I keep forgetting.
She may blister your ear with her reaction to your going back.
It's right there?
I believe,
Yeah. So, Thuraya, Nepal. Okay, we're going to give it a shot. Now I need her number again.
Sometimes I think my grandmother thinks I'm headed to like Afghanistan or Iraq when I'm heading out to Tibet or Nepal. It's not the same thing, Grandma.
She's not enthused about these.
Everyone here's Buddhist.
My grandma was worried about me too, so I guess that's just a grandma thing.
It's ringing.
Ah, good, it's ringing.
Hi there, I am Susan Miller's son, Jonathan, and I am calling you right now. Hi, how are you? I am currently calling from Mount... Nice to talk to you. I am currently calling from Mount Everest Base Camp in Nepal, and I was curious if you could kind of patch me through to her classroom if she's in her classroom right now, or if you could track her down for me. Great, thank you so much.
Were you talking to the main office here?
I don't remember. I don't remember whether it was the main office. It must have been the main office because...
You got through to the humanities office eventually because our department secretary, Jeannie, just hunted and alerted people all over the school. Apparently there were 5 or 6 people hunting for me, and I was on a prep period in our little computer room.
Oh, I see.
Office, and no one thought to look in there.
Don't you worry. I'm not going anywhere right now.
Yeah, that's for sure. My butt's
None of us were
planted in
getting
that
up.
chair. Yeah.
None of us were moving.
I think you're talking to our department secretary.
She's very excited, whoever it was.
Yeah,
very
yeah.
enthusiastic.
At that high school.
I'm imagining they don't get a whole lot of calls from Mount
Because
Everest
my
at the
parents
school.
were there before
Not
I
too
even
many.
was a student there. So it was always part of my life.
That's very cool.
But they've all seen the movie.
What'd your dad teach?
He was an administrator,
Okay.
but he did teach. He was he taught the wind ensemble, which was the highest level like band or orchestra.
Sure.
No strings.
And John was a
just wind
bassoonist
instruments.
in the wind ensemble.
I played the bassoon. But he also, he ran the performing and visual arts department, and he also produced all of the theater that was done there. So he got me involved in technical theater when I was in 8th grade, before I was technically allowed to be part of the productions, and I just loved it, fell in love with it, and I think that has had a really strong impact on how I know how to do what I do now.
Yeah, sure.
The lighting and everything, and just the artistic nature of the graphics and the editing.
Sure wish I could say that to his face.
I know.
Man,
I used to say some fathers and sons went fishing together, but John and his brother Chris and their dad built imaginary worlds together, lived in them for 2 weeks, and then took them down and started over again.
It was great.
Her classroom's on the opposite side of the school, but it's not a huge school.
I eventually finished what I was doing, walked out in the hallway, and 3 people nabbed me and typically pulled me down to the department office.
800. They've expanded the floors, the actual square footage of the school since then, but
She never takes sick days or vacation days.
my mom,
Yeah.
no, she takes sick days and vacation days, but
Let's hope today's not one of them.
no. She's retiring after this school year. Yeah, she'll retire in June after graduation.
Well, congratulations on your retirement.
Thank you. I'm enjoying it.
Long time.
40 years.
Wow.
That's a lot of English essays I've graded.
Full benefits.
Been teaching as long as I've been alive.
We didn't have this foam floor.
Yeah, do you guys remember that floor in the tent?
Yes. Yeah.
It was
It
nice.
seals some of the cold out.
Yeah, it was this closed cell foam.
Yeah, you could just pour. Hey,
It was
Mom, how you
everywhere.
doing?
Here we go.
I'm doing well. I was the guys here. There's only a few of us up here at base camp. The rest of the group stayed down a little bit lower. But people were asking me. Jeff here next to me was asking, "She's not going to be taking a sick day or a vacation day today, will she?" And I said, "No. I'm pretty sure she's going to be there." Well, we arrived at base camp today. The group has split up into 2 different groups because the altitude has been very challenging to some people. Everyone's made it up, but one of the goals is to get up to the top of Kalapatar, which is kind of a brown hill near the base of a beautiful mountain called Pamori, so you can actually see all of the tall peaks. You can see Nuptse, and I think you can see some of Lhotse. You can definitely see Everest. You can see some of the north face of Everest, but primarily you see the West Ridge, and you can see Changse, which is the mountain I was always staring at from Tibet.
You notice when I talk, I forget I'm tired.
We can all see Changse. We can see Changse the whole time because the base camps.
So that's why you were talking about.
If you were to be in Tibet's north side base camp and go all the way up to Everest.
You've always been enthusiastic.
Turn to your right.
Never been at a loss for words. Is that right, Susan?
Never. His father and I always said we could sit John next to a tree and he'd make friends with it.
So we've been right next to the Tibet-Nepal border all afternoon, and in fact, the phone only works in Nepal right now with the SIM card that I purchased, and for a minute there I think I leaned too far back in my chair and it thought I was too close to the China, obviously Tibet, but technically China border, and it didn't want to let me place a call to you, so.
There was quite a group of teachers gathered around.
Oh, were there?
I'm on my phone right now.
Yes.
Yeah, it's working. No, I'm on my phone. It's working. Yeah. So people have been able to call home.
Not every day you get a call from Mount Everest.
No, I've had
But this was her
over
third.
the years,
This was her third.
So far, I
Yes.
think almost everyone's gotten a chance.
including a birthday call once.
From ABC on the north side.
Yep. Exactly.
At base camp. And are you in your class?
I'm getting used to this.
Right now? Oh, you're in the department office. Okay. I was hoping to be able to break through into your office and maybe give you some more street cred, but you get enough anyway.
Yeah,
nor do you need a whole lot more because you're retiring in just over a month and a half. So, but I'm not gonna be able to keep talking for very much longer, only because of the minutes, not because I'll be disconnected from you. But go ahead. I am doing better than I've ever done before. I'm absolutely amazed because usually I feel the worst out of everyone. But yeah, this trip has been just really, really good. Today was very difficult. It was probably the 4th or 5th hardest day I've ever had. But I made it. And
on this trip.
Are you guys all having a good time?
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. Okay, I don't know if you heard that, but it was a collective grunt. Okay, she did. and the coolest thing, Mom, is that my good friend Dawa, the cook from 2003, is here. He's here at base camp, and there was a death in the family. One of our staff, his brother was a high altitude cook for this team, this climbing team. Not our team, and he passed away, so a whole group of our Sherpas all kind of hightailed it up to base camp to collect his body, which was brought down through the ice wall. They carried him down to just, I think, a few hours outside Lukla, the town we flew into, and then they all came back up because they needed to get him to a llama to start the transition, because the belief is that once you die, you're not really dead for 3 days. And you need to have like some puja ceremonies and stuff. So the goal is to help you pass on. So they were able to do that. Everything worked out. But unfortunately, this is the second brother that this wonderful man has lost in the past couple of years, I think. So. But yeah. But how's everything there? Everything going well? We'll be back in Kathmandu in like 4 days, I think.
Yeah, you go down much faster than you go
up. I'll catch up. It should be much easier. We are actually higher than the Northside Base Camp right now. We're at about 17.6 right now. Definitely feel it. And but we're in the familiar, Mountain Hardware dome tent that you've seen 100 million times. It looks a lot more weather beaten now, but all is well. And yeah, the guys here up with me here are they're doing really well. And the other team members, hopefully they'll make it up Kalapatar tomorrow morning. And if people don't, everyone's getting lots of pictures. Yep. And if they don't make it up, I'm going to have a feeling that some people will be less disappointed about it than they were anticipating they were going to be if they couldn't make it up Kalapatar, because it's rough. It's rough out here. So priorities are fluid out here. So
yeah, you go, I don't really care anymore.
Yeah, they have to. So, well, yeah, I'm glad I could get through to you. I'll call Heidi later tonight for the thank you. I called and left a message on their voicemail, but they have my number blocked, obviously. They have everything blocked always if it's not recognizable. So but tell her again, I'm doing great. Better than I've ever done in any of these trips. Much better than Argentina even. So yeah, I'm going to keep it up, and on tomorrow I'll be heading down. I'll begin heading down. So all right, Mom. Yep, I think about you all the time. I love you to the ends of the earth. And I'm filming this conversation. It's a little bit dark right now, but I love you, Mom. And I will talk to you from probably Kathmandu next if I don't get a chance beforehand. All right. Bye. I will. Bye.
Yeah.
Yes, that was very reassuring. I know that you're doing well on these trips, but it's always good to hear from you.
Of course.
Watch the histogram slowly creep to the left.
all the way to black.
All the way to the left.
Yeah.
All the way to the
I've given my mom some phone calls that start out with like, "Mom, I'm okay, but this is what just happened to me."
Okay, so.
Well, and on your first trip there, I remember you kindly filmed having some minor surgery done on your toe
Yes.
and sent it to me on the internet. I'm not sure how reassuring that was.
But it was cool.
Yes, I guess, in your estimation.
This is good water. Good water. It's boiling water.
Great.
Yes.
Boiled. So it's boiled
So
cold.
do we get hot water in our bottles tonight?
Yeah, the staff here just took such good care of us.
Okay, so
While we were there as well.
492.
So Jeff, are you trying to call your family?
Yeah, I was calling my parents.
Oh, your parents.
Oh, it's down the antenna. There you go.
As I recall, it just got
Right away.
colder and colder and colder and colder up there.
Yeah,
So they
definitely.
brought in a stove.
Yeah, then Dawa came in with a little propane heater for us.
Made all the difference in the world, too.
Yeah, that's great.
Huddled around it like a campfire.
Yeah, I was shivering so badly, it's like I was dancing.
It rang twice and nothing happened. Here we go. Here we go. It's ringing again.
For those of you familiar with the podcast, look at the stuff on the table. It looks like the stuff on every table in every episode that I've ever filmed.
So I've even seen footage of other expeditions, and you see the same stuff on everybody's table. Same cups and everything, those
I
same
like
metal
their
coffee
tablecloth
cups.
better,
and-
though, in this camp. It's fancier than the one that I've ever had.
The antenna wasn't fully extended to begin with.
What was ringing?
So we got some popcorn and
says
soup
to
there.
Ryan to Paul. Is it? Can I just press this to redial the same number? Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Does it have? Do you see multiple?
While this is going on, I want to mention that John Coleman, when the hike started out, John, you were having a really hard time, and you were questioning how far you'd be able to go up, and so the whole time we were here, I just kept looking at you, being like, "Awesome! I knew John would make it if he just hang in there." And
Yeah,
Johnny
that's
got
funny. I
stronger.
mean,
there you are.
Stronger and
I
stronger.
did. I just got, the higher we got, the better I felt. It was weird. I had like inverse altitude sickness or something. And it's funny, on the way down again, it was when we got back to Namche again, I got really sick again. So something about that particular region, I don't know.
So you must be part yak.
It could be.
Yeah, that's right.
That's why I need a yak ball to carry around on my neck.
Yeah, I think up here it probably gone below 0 degrees Fahrenheit. I mean, it was really cold.
Yeah, I think I asked somebody on the staff like how cold it got at night, and I think they were saying like maybe minus 10-ish overnight, maybe even colder.
It says call time is, but I'm not hearing anything.
No, if you've seen call time, that means it hung up on you. Probably.
Okay, well, it's not going to work. Sorry. Here you go. Going to give you this.
Let me put this down for a minute. I think I might have lost my spoon.
So these guys they're serving us soup and popcorn as an appetizer, but
We're going to have the best meal.
we are not prepared for what they're about to bring out.
Oh, there. Oh, this is cool.
I was ecstatic just with that hot soup.
Yeah,
I'd have been happy if that's the only thing we got. You know?
Pete, popcorn and hot soup would have been perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Gourmet cooking at base camp. Can't beat that with a stick.
I still, to this day, can't believe what they're about to bring out.
I'm gonna sit over here. And you guys can stand there. You're on camera too.
Okay, no problem.
Here, I'll show you.
Sure.
Yeah, the staff never totally understood that I wanted them in the shot. They're so used to being, told, get out of the shot, but, my belief is that they're part of, they're as important as any of us. So I want them in the shot.
We are the Four Musketeers.
Here, you see? Here, come down. Shh. A little bit tall. Always important to get the staff on camera. They're the most important part.
Absolutely. Couldn't do it without them.
Then they would be here without us.
Yeah. This is your home.
Important distinction. We could not be here, and they would be here.
Mom, you can see why I keep having to go out there to visit these guys. They're the best.
Yeah, they really seem like they are. They look so familiar to me. Dawa, I've seen in various, in the film.
It's amazing how well this Nikon is done in the cold.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been rained on, it's been snowed on. It's
battery technology.
I mean, well, not just the battery, but the camera. I mean, that's a.
Well, it's a professional model.
Hey, everyone's camera's held up really well.
Yes.
Through this extreme environment.
Well, it wasn't the low.
Yeah, it was. I was very happy with the equipment.
Yeah, mine shows the wear and tear from the experience, but yeah, never had any problems with it functionality-wise.
But that's
I mean, it's scratched up and beat up, and it was just filthy when I got it home, but never missed a beat.
Did it smell like a yak dung fire?
Yes, it did.
Probably still does.
Probably still does, yeah. So that's why people keep running away when I get the camera out.
If you ever go up into the wilds of like northern Ontario, or anything, and you want to stay connected in a place you can't, let me know. I'll let you borrow it.
I'm always trying to loan my satellite phone gear to people.
Prepaid minutes usually. People will
might as well get used.
I'd rather it be used than sit on the shelf getting dusty.
Right.
And you can't really sell them, but they can sell you a prorated card. Okay. So you can pay less for it, and instead of having to buy 500 minutes.
It's kind of funny though. I'm look at John. John's totally eating his soup, and but John's a geek. Jeff's a geek. Steve's a geek. I'm a geek, and we're talking geek stuff at Everest Base Camp, and we're talking about electronic gear. I love it.
And the satellites aren't in a stationary orbit.
Yeah, how many people say stationary orbit at base camp?
You'd probably be fine there. The last person to let borrow it was a woman named Jill Gutman, and I let her borrow the phone for free. I let people use the phone for free.
Wasn't she the one that told you about the flagell?
Yep.
Good memory, huh?
Yep, she did this trek in November.
Yeah, that woman I just mentioned, Jill, she's coming with us on the 2010 trek.
This is a really good soup.
She might be coming back, and I told her she can borrow the Thoraya next time. She really struggled.
I am really sorry I can't be going with you guys this year.
The only one repeating is Tilo. Well, and Chris and Monica, of course.
She seemed to have really good weather in the fall. I just didn't want to wait that long.
Well, it's nice to be here when there's not noise here.
Yeah, there's a lot more now. And by November, the season's pretty much over. We get it.
I mean, this base camp looks like a city. It's like, well, I mean,
it's a circus.
You saw the Everest Base Camp Bakery has an elevation in meters and feet on it.
If you watch my podcast closely, you'll see what are called cross dissolves, where if the shot doesn't change, you don't notice it too much, but you'll see the people going, then they'll go, and that just means time has passed. Nothing.
I edit this stuff way down.
Time has passed.
Look, there's one right there. You see it?
It's very good.
You can see how boring it is just as edited. Imagine how boring it is unedited.
A little bit more.
I don't know. There wasn't a single moment when we were at base camp that I would have ever considered myself as being bored.
Spicy, isn't it?
I'm not talking about
I was just so excited to be there. It didn't matter what we were doing. I could sat there and stare at the wall and been thrilled by it.
Guys. If you have anything brilliant to say it now. Don't say it in a minute and a half.
John,
Camera's going off.
Bon appetit.
Okay, I was going to be done filming for a bit, but had to crack the camera out again because we had just some delicious soup. And it became clear that we were definitely special guests of the kitchen when an entire pizza was brought out, obviously freshly made. And then I think the whole point was driven home when, so what do you guys think that is?
Chicken?
It looks like an entire chicken. Oh, I've fogged up the entire lens here. Let me see if I can clean it off.
Yeah, just breathing, just
drooling here.
Breathing. It was so cold. The camera's getting so cold.
This is before they brought in the heater, I think.
Yep.
Camera's not too cold here.
Yellow.
Okay, so John, you were pretty psyched when the pizza came out.
Oh, yes.
I like what John says.
This is the best thing I've eaten on the whole trek so far. This is so good.
This is, yeah. Man, I tell you what, this is great. This makes a base camp trek worth it by itself.
I think it was the one and only time I ever went back for seconds on anything. The entire trip. Because I was having like all kinds of stomach problems the whole trip. But
you
that
really enjoyed that pizza.
I enjoyed that pizza.
I was so full of the pizza, I don't think I ate much, if anything, of that spectacular roast chicken.
Right now, because you're eating some of the best food you've had in weeks, but
I'm messing with the windscreen on my mic there. That's what you hear, all that garbage noise. It doesn't happen sometimes, but it doesn't get filmed. So I just want to. I mean, this is impressive. But I mean, this is Thanks, Steve.
Look at that.
You should be on The Price is Right.
That's amazing.
Okay, everyone, just really look at this. Look what Dawa cooked up. See all the vegetables. See the pasta, the chicken.
Do you guys ever eat like this?
Unbelievable.
That's
awesome
totally
meal.
impressive.
Because we're friends.
I mean, that'd be awesome at home, let alone, at almost 18,000 feet.
I want to eat it now.
Some, right?
Yeah.
Is he going to let you guys eat some of it?
Yeah, they're like,
you can eat some of it.
No, we're not going to be able to get any of it. It's all for you guys.
We're going to be able to make much of. We're not going to be able to eat much of it. Wow, that's just.
At home, I would probably eat.
I don't know, Steve put a pretty good dent in there.
Pizza.
Yeah, I think
One more piece. That's it.
Should have just picked it up and started just eating it with your hands. See, the yak cheese pizza, it's truly gourmet. I like it.
That was an amazing pizza.
Go back for that cheese.
I'm going to try to breathe to the side here so I don't fog up the lens, but I got to say, if that was just for us, because I'm a friend of Dawa's,
I'm done.
I have to say that's one of the most special things anyone's ever done for me in my entire life.
It wasn't mine, but I think it's done.
I mean, wow. You know how hard it was to bring that stuff up here? Unreal. That stuff doesn't just get gone to the grocery store to buy it. It has to be hauled up on someone's back. Amazing.
And cooked without an oven.
Yeah, all cooked in probably a pressure cooker. There's Dawa.
Yeah.
And Karma.
His arm is in the way.
Oh, so Jeff, you're trying to take a picture of Dawa?
Thank you for dinner.
I've never seen so much food.
No. Can we get here? Let me.
It was so good to see Dawa.
These things are in the way and overexposed.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun just sitting there watching you two reminisce and catch up and interact.
Right now is how everyone in the world, when they see something about Everest, they focus on the climbers. They don't focus on people like Dawa, who keep the climbers in good food. And without the good food, you can't climb Everest. So I wanted to make sure that people knew that all the Sherpa staff, all the porters, all of the...
Oh, they're watching Everest the other side?
No, they're watching the episode of just Dawa cooking. Dawa and Pemba. But he's watching, then he's like, you guys need anything else? Okay. Just want to make sure he's still on the clock always. He's just an amazing guy. Have you worked with Pemba in other expeditions?
2000, 6 and 7 also.
Oh, great.
Yeah, 6 and 7.
Okay. And just look at the care that he still takes.
I always love that shot. I love watching him make hot chocolate.
But he's not on
Yeah.
mountain tribes.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
But with Kurashin.
No lawang this year.
Yeah. Lawang is not.
Yeah.
No. I think Long might be getting out of climbing and focusing on imports of rugs and stuff.
I've been wanting to do this Dawa for years now.
Yeah, because that was the first time that I'd seen Dawa since 2003, since leaving Kathmandu. So as I've said in previous episodes of season 4, that I know everyone else was there because their goal was to get to base camp, to be at base camp. My goal was to get to base camp so I could hang out with Dawa. And I know that the next day, Jeff took off early, and we'll see Jeff's adventure in episode 134. But everyone, Steve and John, they took off at some point late morning, and I remember staying for like 3 or 4 more hours, just kind of hanging with the guys in the cook tent, just kind of like what I did back in 2003, and it was so nice. And then Karma was still there, so he escorted me back to Gorak Shep. But it was just so nice to really hang out with Dawa, and it's a long way to go to visit a friend, and so I really wanted to make the most out of it. So, Mom, I wanted to say one more thing too. It's you used to play Everest the Other Side, the film.
For my students.
Wasn't it like the last couple days of school or something like that?
Well, I did it then to entice my 9th graders to do a half hour of review for the final, and then I'd reward them with 15 minutes day after day after day.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and so that worked very well for several years, and then I ended up showing it straight through. They really liked watching it, and I thought, well, I won't break it up so much anymore. So for several years I showed it straight through. And then various social studies teachers showed it to their classes too. So it worked in beautifully with the 9th grade social studies curriculum. So a lot of the kids at Brighton High School in Rochester, New York have seen it. And hopefully this year some of them are still watching it.
Well, Mom, thanks so much for joining us on this episode. I glad to finally incorporate you into the podcast kind of in first person after all these years, but I always make it a habit to call my mom and give her an update because like I said, I've had some adventures in my life where things have gone horribly wrong. I've always made it through fairly unscathed, but I tend to call her and say, you'll never believe, Mom, what just happened to me. But
yes, I have had those heart-stopping phone calls. But this has been fun, and to no one's surprise, I'm one of your biggest fans.
and she also has a $10 per month subscription donation, which I really appreciate.
Exactly.
Well, guys, thanks.
Susan, we owe you a lot, because if it wasn't for your son John, we would have never done this, and we're grateful to you and to him for all of this. It's just a tremendous experience.
Well, like I said at the beginning, I feel like I know all of you from watching you in the episodes. I'm looking forward to the rest of the trek. See what happens. I know you got
this episode, everyone, is just us arriving at base camp. There will be several more episodes at base camp as usual. I usually film a lot when we're, even in a short period of time, I go through a lot of tape at base camp. So next week's episode, which you're probably seeing the preview on the screen right now, is going to be sort of a hybrid episode between the group who went up Kalapatar from Gorak Shep and then us and our adventures waking up in the morning and everything at base camp, and then finally stepping outside and seeing just how absolutely gorgeous it was. So I guess thanks a lot, guys, and I'll talk to you next week.
All right, thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
Okay. Thanks.
Thanks, John. See you next week.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye, Mom.
Bye, John.
The Rest of Everest is downloaded all over the world every day, and watching the show has become a part of many people's weekly routine. The show will always be free to download, but it's by no means free to produce. please help me cover my costs by making a small monthly or one-time donation from the right sidebar on my website, and in return I'll give you some cool bonus materials. A donation of any amount will grant you access to some interesting video content, including high-definition versions of several podcast episodes. A one-time donation of $25 or more, or any of the monthly donation options, will additionally grant you access to a downloadable version of the film Everest: The Other Side, which episodes 1 to 61 are based on. I really cannot express how vital these donations are, and if you've made a donation, thank you so much. As always, our announcer is Marlon May, and our music is provided by Wendy Wu. Check her out at wendywu.com. Thanks so much, everyone, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you for watching The Rest of Everest. For more information on the expedition, please visit therestofeverest.com.